Okay, in this video we'll talk about how to add a garage foundation to your home. So when we're taking a look at a typical garage wall foundation, you can see we have a 4-inch concrete slab. This is what the cars drive on. There's stone underneath, of course, undisturbed earth. Then you have your foundation wall, and this is a stacked wall. This is a 16-inch by 8-inch thick concrete footing. And then we have our CMU 8-inch block that steps back to a 6-inch block at the top. What that does is it creates this ledge. This is a 2-inch ledge that the concrete can sit on, so it supports the concrete at the entire perimeter. This can be easily recognized or seen a little bit better here if I take this scope box and drag this into the garage space. And you can actually see how the garage slab here, this gray slab, is actually now sitting on top of that foundation wall. There's that 2-inch lip, and that slab sits on top of that foundation wall just like that. So there's your concrete and the slab. So let's go ahead and we can start working on building up this stacked wall. Now, the stacked wall has 3 elements to it. The first is the 6-inch CMU, the second is the 8-inch, and then of course the last is the footer. You have to have these 3 elements built first. So if you haven't built these elements before, and you don't have these built up in your project, then you need to build them. So architecture, go to your wall tab, or say your wall tool, and then you're going to come in here and you're going to make sure that you have these. So here's my 8-inch CMU. If you do not have one, you can start a new wall or start a wall. You can duplicate and rename this to be your 8-inch CMU. Go ahead and set your 8-inch CMU and 8-inch thickness. We should all have this by this point in time in the course. And then also you wanted to do the same thing. You could take and you make a 6-inch. So you'll go ahead and create the same thing for a 6. Now, I know that I have one in here somewhere. There's my 6-inch CMU. And then also you want to make sure that you have a footer. So I have an 18, I have a 24. You got to make sure that you have the footers that you are looking for when you're going to go ahead and build out your stacked wall. So once you have these elements, all right, you have these things put in place, then we can go ahead and we can start working off of the stacked wall. So I'm going to grab my wall tool, come here and go all the way down to the bottom of your wall options and find all your stacked walls. So here's stacked walls, and the actually the footer that we're looking for, this is that, or the stack wall that we're going to build is this 6-inch CMU, 8-inch CMU. Nope, not a 12. We don't have a brick ledge on it. So let's keep going down here. We're going to do a 6-inch CMU slab edge, 8-inch CMU with a 16-inch concrete footer. So this is the actual wall we're going to build. So let's go ahead and take a look at what it looks like as a built-up wall. So when I jump into here, here's my section, and you can see that I have a 6-inch on top, and the height for that 6-inch is going to be 8 inches tall. It's because it's an 8-inch high cinder block. Next one coming down here is that 8-inch CMU. Now this is going to be variable depending upon the grade on the home and how low the slab is. This could change, so we make this one variable. And then your 16-inch concrete footer sits on the bottom, and that is an 8-inch thick concrete footer. So as you have done this before, just make sure you insert the necessary walls. And of course, I just added another 6-inch to the top. And then you can scoot these things around. You can delete them. You can keep them as necessary. Okay, and they show up over here on the left side. We've built these up before. And then make sure that they're offset so that the outside is flush with your cinder block, with the 2 cinder blocks, making that 2-inch lip for the concrete. And then, of course, the bottom is your concrete footer. Then you'll have to offset that by 4 inches so it's centered on your CMU. So make sure you get all that set up, and then you can go ahead and hit OK. Once you have this all set and you're ready to rock and roll, then what you want to do is you want to make sure that your levels are correct, okay? Because our levels, we're not going to build this thing down to this basement floor. So let's go take a look at this typical garage section, and you can see that the frost footer for the garage is at -5'8". So that's the basis of our wall, and then the top of the wall is going to go up to our garage floor. That garage floor is set at 2 feet below the first floor, so that's going to be the height However, it's going to extend up 4 inches. All right, so they're the levels we're going to be working with. So back here to the basement, we're going to go ahead and make sure we grab that wall again. So there's my stacked wall, concrete footer. It's all good. Base constraint, we're going to go in and find that. Do we have that frost footer in there? Or is it called garage footer? There it is, garage footer. Must have been in a different file. Garage floor, garage footer. Want that one for the base constraint. Top constraint, we're going to go in and we're going to find that top constraint to be that garage floor. All right, and then my top offset, that was going to be 4 inches. So to make sure I'm going to be drawing directly underneath of the walls, I'm going to go to my first floor where I have my wall set up. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to then set that same wall up. Base constraint is going to be based off of that garage footer. Top constraint is going to be based off of the garage floor. And there's my 4-inch offset still there. Then what I'm going to do is I don't want to attach this to the house yet because I don't want things to get linked up there yet. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start. I want this to be directly in line with that sheathing layer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and then click, and I'm going to start drawing. Now, drawing underneath of the wall, okay, coming all the way out, and I'm going to keep working my way around. Now, it's going to tell me that you can't see what you're drawing, and that's fine, simply because it's underneath of the wall, and it's not in the view. So I'm going to get back up here close. But I don't really want this to join up to the house yet. So I'll go back to my basement floor, and you can see I was drawing a foundation underneath my house, and that things are going to line up, all right? But I don't want them to join this wall yet because they're different heights, all right? Because they're different heights, we're not going to want this to automatically clean up with this wall, all right? So what I want to do is I want to then use this tool right here, wall joints. I want to select it, mouse over it, and there's 2 boxes. There's a big box, which is dealing with the footer. Then there's a small box, which is dealing with the CMU. Then there's actually a third box we can't see that has to do with the 6-inch CMU. So the first one I'm going to select, and I want to say this is with my footer, disallow the join. Okay. Then I want to go from big box to little box. Same thing, disallow the join, okay? Because when I then select the wall, a little symbol right here that pops up means it will not link up with the house wall, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing over here. In fact, I'm going to pull this back away from this house a little bit because I don't want it to join the house wall. All I want is it to butt the house wall. So I'm going to mouse over big box, disallow the join, little box, disallow the join. Okay, now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and temporarily raise my view range. Okay, we're going to go up until I can see the 6-inch block that sits on top of this. All right, so we'll go up here, 7'6". Is that high enough? Hit apply and then see. Am I going to grab that 6-inch? Yes, that 6-inch block as I can see it because there's my concrete slab that really we haven't drawn yet. So let me just delete it. So there's the 6-inch block. So I need to do the same thing one more time to disallow the join for that 6-inch. So I should have big box, little box, and then it should be, yep, click on that one. So I'm working on that little box. So big box, little box, and smaller box, disallow that join. All right, so if you go back and check these out, just put these join tools over top. So big box, disallow the join, good. Next smaller box, disallow the join, and then smaller box even yet, disallow the join. That's those 3 options in that wall. Now what I should be able to do is just take this and push this into this wall, and it should not link up. So let's see what happens here. Boom, that's all I needed. In line and not linking or joining into that foundation. When things want to start joining up, stacked walls at different heights and different, whoops, wrong drawing here. Where are we? Let me find the right 3D view. Yeah, this is the right one. When these heights want to link up, so they got different type walls, different stack walls, different heights, things get really messed up in here. So you really want to follow along and join those up that exact way. All right, so now the next thing we're going to do is let's get a concrete slab in there, and then we're going to join the concrete slab so that our door doesn't run through the slab. Let me show you what that looks like. My first floor, I'm going to go ahead and make a section just so you can take a peek at what's going on here in this door. So we'll flip it so I'm looking at it in that direction. So here, we cannot have the garage floor with the door coming down, hitting, and then have a 6-inch block in the way, because this is where our slab's going to sit right here. So let's go ahead and add the slab, and then we're going to join these two things together so that that all cleans up nicely. So to go ahead and do that, let's get back here to our first floor, and we can go ahead and grab architecture. We want to grab a floor system. And here we want to go in and find a 4-inch concrete slab, which we've done concrete slabs before. Make sure it's set up as a standard concrete slab. And right now it's based off of the first floor. I don't want to base it off the first floor. I want to base it off of my garage floor. So with that set, I'm going to go ahead and then draw in, but I need to be overhanging. So I really should be looking at this on the basement floor. There we go. Because I want to be sitting on this lip. This lip right here is where I want to be looking when I'm drawing this concrete slab. So I'm going to come out to here. Now that garage door is going to be right around here somewhere. So I'm coming across. What I'll probably do is just let this run all the way through. And then I'll go back in and add the apron on this concrete slab. I'm going to come all the way across here. All right, good. Because I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to say don't attach. And let's go in and look at this section. So now you can see the section is right here. This is my concrete running over and it's hitting this 6-inch block. So we got to get this 6-inch block out of here and join up and let this slab run through here so that you can drive over top of that slab and the door comes down on top of it. So what we want to do is go ahead and get that set up. So to do this, what we're going to have to do is actually cut this foundation wall and then remove or turn the slab into a different wall there so we can remove that top course of block. So to do this, we got to find out where that garage door is sitting. So what I'm going to do is we're going to then go ahead and we're going to set this up so we can see the garage door in this particular view. And we're going to use this tool over here, which is the overlay tool. So let's go find, where's that overlay tool? Underlay tool. So we'll go in and we're going to find the first floor. Come back over here, and what I want to see now is I can see the edge right here where that garage door is slicing through that block. Now what I want to do is I want to put a line right here where that garage door line is actually running, because I want to slice that block basically 1.5 inches over, because this is a 16-foot garage door. You want to actually cut enough of that block out so that you can put some framing material in that space anyway. So we're going to make a 16-foot 3-inch hole for the garage door here. So to do this, now that I have this in position, I'm going to take and then I'm going to go ahead and draw over 1.5 inches. And then at that point, notice I'm drawing some lines in here to do this. At that point, that's where I'm going to cut the wall. So I'm going to come up here to this split element tool, all right? And I'm going to then mouse over the wall right here, and I'm going to click that line. What that's just done is split this element. I'm going to go ahead and immediately delete these lines that I used, because now that point from there, come back over to this side. I'm going to go ahead and again grab my annotate, my detail line. I'll draw over 1.5 inches and just come up to give myself a reference point. Grab my split element tool, cut that wall there, and then I'm going to go ahead and delete these lines because I don't need them. All right. And then that distance from that point to this point should be 16 feet 3 inches. Yes, because that's going to be the rough opening of my block. Then I'm going to take this wall and I'm going to change this wall from being just a stacked 8 and 16-inch footer here. So let's go find, there's an 8 CMU, 8 CMU, 8 CMU 16-inch footer. That's what I'm going to use, all right? Because what I don't need is that concrete block sitting on top. So now with that taken care of, I can now start editing my slab, because if I look at my section, you're going to see here that this is now this concrete block sitting on top of here, all right? So I could take that block and then say, okay, you're going to then come down to be below my concrete slab right there. Now I can take and push that apron through. So I'm going to go ahead and select the slab. Let's go do this on the first floor, probably the easiest. We're going to go ahead and head here and hit Edit Boundary. And now I can go ahead and simply change the way that this concrete slab sits, and it actually then comes out for the apron. Now I'm going to use my little trim tool here, where I want to keep this line and keep this line. Unjoin the elements. I got to go over here and add this line back in and go across here like this. Now, what I've just done is I've extended my concrete so it's underneath of that door, a little apron area there to clean this up. Don't attach the walls, and let's go in and take a look at that wall now. Now, block runs up to underneath of the slab, slab sits down, the door sits on that. All that looks nice and pretty. Now let's go back and take a look at the 3D view and see how this looks. You can see that concrete poking out from underneath the wall. Now, to get this perfect, we would end up going in and moving this over 1.5 inches. You can see where that apron is not just totally perfect there. Pretty simple to do. Edit the boundary, and you can do it in this view, or you can jump back into this view, and we just take and move this over just that distance for the rough opening, 1.5 inches that way. We'll go ahead and we'll move it this way, and we'll do 1.5 inches this way. All right, so that takes care of that, and we jump back into that 3D. We'll be able to take a look at that. There it is. You can see it's all filled in nice and tight. So hopefully this helps you work through how to get your garage wall set up, how to get things tidied up with your slab, and get a chance to see how this all comes together. Now, if we look over here, you can also see that the slab is running. Move this out of the way here. That slab's running right there to the ledge. Okay, so again, hopefully help this get you through setting up your garage foundation and your slab for the project.